Well, hello there. Welcome back. Do you guys like Cyberpunk 2077, the video game? I know I did in its earlier builds because I played it on computer, and then it turned into something totally different. And I started to think about that. I was like, what movies are great? And also from the proper time period that I'm from, that were like Cyberpunk 2077 because my wife asked me to think about it. So I did. And I went, oh, that's right. Johnny Mnemonic. So this movie is from obviously, 1995, and it's a fantastic film. Street Preacher is my favorite character if you've ever watched this movie, but Dolph Lundgren does an amazing job. He's a complete lunatic. He's burly and he just trashes things. And in this, it's the courier from New Vegas, right? Essentially, he's just the courier, but everything's trapped in his mind. He rents out space in his brain that can only last for so long, and it starts to kill him if he can't get it out, and all this other stuff. And it's essentially the entire plot of Cyberpunk 2077, the main campaign, and it's a good watch. A lot of action, lot of you know fun whoozy danglies. I mean, look at these pictures. This movie it's a vibe. It's got Ice-T, Dolph Lundgren, Dina Meyer. It's Henry Rollins. I forgot he was in there too. Wow, good movie. Can't say how great of a fun time it was. It really takes you on a long ride. It's real rainy and gloomy and dark, and there's even those little laser whips that you have in the game. Yeah, the laser whips. Next one was another movie called Strange Days. These have to do with these weird little spaghetti monsters you put on your head and you can relive memories. And this guy, he's like a detective and he loves his wife and he keeps trying to go back in time to relive the time they are together, but she was murdered. Well, it was one of those snuff films or whatever. And it turns out that, spoiler alert on a 30-year-old movie, but it was his partner, Tom Sizemore, which is crazy. But this movie is wild. It's a wild film. Yeah. Max Pelter, Tom Sizemore, he was the bad guy. It was a good film. Tom Sizemore was an amazing actor. He just kind of went crazy. But yeah, this is a whole movie about the seedy crime industry and also police force working with them, and one good cop against the rest of all the craziness that's going on, and takes place in the future, and it's really really good. I mean, it wasn't even IMDb gives it a 7.2 out of 10. It's a solid film, and it kind of is unfortunate because a lot of people didn't watch it. Next up is Virtuosity, one of my favorite movies. Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington. So Russell Crowe is a computer construct that uses glass, or what they call silica, and he can regrow his body, and he tricks this one guy pretending to be a girl to get out, the whole evil AI thing. And he gets out and he's like, oh yeah, I can now control the world. So they take this dude that went to prison who was a cop, and Denzel, and they let him out of prison. There's a great prison fight scene. Oh, just super awesome. Fights a whole bunch of skinheads and wins. Super dope. And he gets out, he hunts him down, and gets in the future, and he's doesn't understand what's happening, but there's weird railway systems, and like the cars are all funky, and you know, eventually good wins, and it's great. It's great. You know, Russell Crowe does a great job. Denzel Washington obviously does a great job. Um, oh wow, William Forsythe. I forgot he was in there. Oh wow, yeah. Anyway, great. Oh, Kaylee Cuoco from the Big Bang Theory. I didn't know she was in there. I have to go watch that again. Saw it a long time ago, but you know, I have it on VHS, so I can always rewatch this stuff. You guys are stuck to the internet, so I got hundreds and hundreds of VHS tapes. I can go and rewatch anytime I feel like. So, this movie's great. It's definitely a top watch. Fifth Element. Now, this was great. You know, Bruce Willis, Gary Oldman, Mia Jovovich. Great job. Takes a little bit, you know, it starts on Earth, but you know, it's the whole point that they get out and they go to somewhere else, and you know, they're trying to save the universe from this evil mass of quagmire nonsense, black bleedy stuff from your brain. I didn't, you know, whatever the evil force is, you know, evil of the universe. Really, really good. A lot of fun. They save the world, you know, using the elements, and then the fifth element is, you know, love, which is great. You know, your main point is that, you know, fifth element of all of the universe is love. You know, water, wind, fire, air, earth, and love. I don't know. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Yeah, Chris Tucker, Ruby Road. That was funny. That was a funny little character he made. Next up, I know this could be a Warhammer movie, but you know, also, you know, I consider it cyberpunk on the tipping point of Warhammer, which is, you know, Judge Dredd. No, not this absolute heap of garbage that they put on us in 2012 and pulled the rug on us. Ah, Colin Farrell does such great work, but why ruin this film? Anyway, get rid of that. The real Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? He did a great job. You know, this guy, what they call him, Dennis Quaid. That's right, Dennis Quaid. So he's just a construction worker, and he's got his own whole business going on, and he's like, oh, I want to take a vacation, but only for like a couple of hours, and I'll get these little brain implants. I heard about this Total Recall thing. And he's like, yeah, I want blue sky on Mars, which the whole joke and the thing is like his Total Recall was his vacation was, you know, fighting for the resistance and saving Mars, and none of it was real. What a good movie. What a good movie. Spoil, like, you know, warning, don't watch like this around young kids. There is quite some nudity in there. So nudity and violence and people exploding and stuff. So be warned. It is not for the younger of people. But yeah, completely solid film. I enjoyed the heck out of it many times. Also, you know, Arnold was, you know, my childhood hero, and I wanted to be the Terminator, obviously, villain. Wanted to be him. But we'll move on to the next film, which is more or less a good film. Equilibrium. So Equilibrium, Christian Bale, obviously, everybody knows his face. And Taye Diggs. This movie's about like an enforcer who wasn't allowed to show emotions, and everybody in the society has to like take these little shots or pills or whatever, and you know, not get emotions. And there's a lot of good like gun fu. I think is what they capitalized it as, like gun fu, fist fighting, but with guns. It's pretty darned like it is nifty. It's really nifty. He just floats around like a butterfly and just, you know, it takes down the whole system. Takes down the whole system just, by himself, trying to save this woman in a painting or something like that. It's been 2002, so it's been over 20 years since I watched this, but I just remember the feels I got from it in the space age frontier of, shortly after today and tomorrow. Yeah, as you can see, like, also you got yourself a shirtless Christian Bale, ladies, young shirtless Christian Bale. Anyway, but the way they move in the movie, Sean Penn. Oh, I love Sean Penn. I just don't understand why he has to die and everything he does. But yeah. Oh, look, he's back again. It seems like all the movies I like have common actors. I don't know. Maybe it's just the time period, or you know, the fact that we used to make really, really good movies, really, really fascinating, fun thought movies, and now nothing. We have new garbage, but now we're getting on to the new and a little bit old, um, Altered Carbon. If you haven't seen it, I think it was on Netflix. The first season is fantastic. Once you finish the first season, just turn your TV off and pretend like nothing else happened. Do not click on like season 2 or season 3. You will regret it. I regretted it. My wife regretted it because even she liked this, and it really likes to like just pull the rug right out up from under you and kick you right in the nuts. Like it was a great show, and somebody came in and said, we should just ruin it. That would be funny. Lols. And then they did. They proceeded to just ruin this great, amazing season of what could have been such good cinema for many, many years. And of course it died. It was made and then it died because we all got really mad, and I'm assuming everyone downvoted it. And then Netflix was like, "Oh, we're just gonna cancel that," because they don't like not making money. And make a bad show and it doesn't make money. Well, you gotta get rid of a bad show because it's making bad money. And just listen to your audience. Yeah, Chris Connor as Poe. That is my favorite character of the show. Was the the steward of the hotel, and he was like an AI thing, right? So it takes place as there's this criminal gets out of prison, he doesn't know why, and he pops down into Elysium, essentially, like this nightmare world, and he's like, cool, I'm gonna go do some, stuff, and then he finds a hotel that's like pretty much abandoned, which is run by this one AI who is, Edgar Allan Poe. And oh man, he protects him like nobody's business, because apparently in those like hotels, the robot hotels, like you're not even allowed to think funny. And man, he lights people up, and he's like his first customer in like 50 years or something like that, or 100 years or something. And it's so good. Their dynamic together is fantastic. And then like you figure out that the girl that he likes now is actually the wife of the guy whose body he has, because they like do body swapping. They put your mind into the new body after you get out of prison. It's wild. If you haven't seen it, watch the first season. Once you get to the last episode of the first season, turn it off, watch something else. Do not continue with this story. Just turn it off there. Trust me. Matter of fact, you know what? Watch the first episode of the second season and then go, oh yeah, Taylor was right. I really shouldn't have done that. Just punish yourself, I guess. So then we go to the old. So we had a new, right? Like that's a relatively new show. What was this? 2020, 2018. Yeah, 2018 to 2020. 2018, yeah. It's a newer. So we're going to go with older. Older Blade Runner. Everybody's seen it. I don't know anybody who hasn't seen this movie. It's definitely a cyberpunk movie. It's it's good. I mean, it's dated, but it's good, you know. And the French and Japanese language that most people speak because everybody got, blended together over time and all the cities merged together. I think gives it a fun little thing. And like he's like one of the only people in like the whole setting that speaks like American English. And it's pretty fun, you know. And he's a guy that hunts down rogue androids, right? Like androids aren't supposed to come back to Earth. They only have like a 4-year lifespan, and they pop off, you know. And he goes and he tries to like hunt them down because that's his job. Hunt them down, get rid of them, and then move on. And he's like a seedy detective, but he falls in love with one, and then like starts feeling a certain way, and then the other ones show up from like the military force because there's like a whole android military force because like the human race doesn't leave the planet. They send all their robots to do all their stuff, mine asteroids, fight wars, do all that. Like everything's piloted from the Earth, but we send out, androids. Well, little bit to them, they gave them too much AI and they became sentient. They were like, I feel, I know I am. And that became kind of a problem in their whole society. So they were like, let's make a defense force for just, whacking these things whenever they shoot back up on the planet. And that's his job. And yeah, it's quite a weird movie, and it is really, really, really good. However, everybody's seen it and everybody knows about it, so I didn't want to put it like the first of the list, put it as an honorable mention because if you say cyberpunk, people are like, oh, you like Blade Runner? It's like, well, no, like Johnny Mnemonic. And, Strange Days and Virtuosity, Fifth Element, Judge Dredd and Total Recall and Equilibrium. Like those probably before Blade Runner, but Blade Runner was the first one made in like 82. And, it's a rated R film, and I like rated R films. All these are rated R. They are not for kids. They are for us adults to enjoy in the cinemas where we eat our popcorn and stuff and have a good time. But yeah, I feel like this is a pretty good, thought process summary of, what movies kind of feel that vibe. Because if you played the game, you got a vibe from it. And I got a vibe. And the first thing I thought was Johnny Mnemonic. Then I was like, well, also it's got some Strange Days vibes to it because you flash into other people's memories, you take the little chips out of their brain and put it in your brain, and then you can see their stuff. And then that seems like Strange Days. And then Virtuosity, obviously, with, the over-the-top, action and, the Fifth Element with the whole corpo thing, and Judge Dredd with it all just kind of sunks. And then, Total Recall with the flights of fancy, memory alterations. And Altered Carbon, because, it was a fun show. But thanks for stopping by, everybody. I know it's a shorter one. I know it's not, like, super in-depth, but I hope you really do enjoy. Thank you for watching any of my videos. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hugs and kisses or something. I don't know, man. Well, y'all have a good one. Bye.